This Cookout Southern 500 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE, SGPN.
Drivers, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. To Darlington we go again for the second time this season for the Cookout Southern 500. Cody, 500 miles of 1.3 miles craziness in the heat now of the playoffs.
The heat of the playoffs, the Southern 500, Rod. Happy Erik Jones week. Glad we finally made it here. And I'm very excited about some options we're getting on Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones and us, we are going to be telling everybody, cashing everybody tickets this weekend. Yeah, definitely Erik Jones week. There's a lot of great, solid bets out there, actually, to be honest with you. I know, Cody, that we are unhappy with a certain book. However, as Andrew says, let's make some money, except the books, except Underdog.
See, this is the conundrum, I guess, that you're put in is, we're limited to options. If a fast food restaurant, pisses you off, there's like 25 other ones that have very similar food. But the book market, sometimes there's only one book that offers you something. So we'll get into it. But Andrew, this would be a great opportunity to stick it to him and take money from him. So
Indeed.
I'll let you think about that.
Indeed. But here's the thing too, and maybe this is them apologizing and making good by opening up so many more markets.
I almost wondered about that. Do we bring back the drivers' finishing positions? Because it's funny. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago with Tampa Tim's when we had him on about how they had the drivers' finishing market, but we hadn't seen it in a long time, and we were both kind of. He was disappointed. We were disappointed. Suddenly, it's reappeared. So, weird. I don't know. Could be coincidence.
Yeah, I'm okay if that's the reason. That definitely doesn't hurt my feelings whatsoever for everybody out there. Ash checking in saying, evening lads, when placing wagers from this weekend, do you look to drivers who have to prove for the 2026 season, especially those ones that don't have a team yet? Extra motivation? I don't know.
This is an interesting question because there's potentially not that many drivers that don't have a team in 2026, Rod. On one hand, but on the other hand, there's potentially a fuck ton of drivers that don't have a ride next year. Depending on how all this lawsuit stuff goes, like there's a lot of dominoes up in the air. Like if you truly look at it, Daniel Suarez is out of his ride. Justin Haley's been rumored to be pretty much on the hot seat. Outside of that, I don't think we've really got any big free agents. Like sounds like Ty Dillon's about to re-up his deal. I don't think there's any other huge moves. There could be some minor stuff, but if there's been some speculation out there about Tyler Reddick searching around, from what I could tell, most of those are not true reports. I'm not seeing it from anybody reputable yet, but we know that the clause is in the contract, right? So if he were to, does that put pressure on an Alex Bowman? Does that put pressure on an Austin Cindric? If I was Tyler Reddick, those are the 2 rides I would be most interested in. And if I was those team owners, those would be the rides I'd be interested in putting Tyler Reddick in over those drivers, despite how great those drivers both are. So yeah, I guess that's a way you could look at some guys is, there could be some motivating factors. And then you have to think about guys like Noah Gragson, guys like Zane Smith that are young drivers still, that if their team is unable to continue going forward because of this charter deal, where does that leave them? Do they need to really put some stuff on tape here at the end of the season to make sure they've got a ride next year?
Honestly, I don't think that motivates them as much as we like to think it does, because they put themselves, their resume is on display every single week, right? There's not one particular race that's going to make somebody go, ooh, right? Because if that were the case, I don't know. Because we've seen, look, one race can make you go, ooh, but then if you look at 26 other races and they're garbage the rest of the way through,
look at how some of these people, like Justin Haley last year was the hottest thing going, Rod. And now, remember they wanted to put him in the 48 car last year because he had like 2 good races in the 51 car. And then now everybody wants him fired. So I'm just saying, like it does change that quickly at times. But yeah, I don't have any big angles on that I think I'm hitting right now. But it's certainly something you could paint the picture for and maybe come up with an angle for it.
Yeah, it definitely does not factor into my handicapping at all this weekend. So, but we will get to all of that. But I want to tell you right now that the Sports Gambling Podcast is giving away $1,000 circa NFL future bet with their phrase that pays. You can submit that phrase. Remember, go back, listen to all 32 of their team previews. You'll get the 32-word phrase, and then you can submit it at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase. Do not miss out. So much good stuff happening there. Also, SGPN just launched their NFL Survivor contest, $100 entry winner take all, my friends. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Plus, if you're new to Splash Sports, use promo code FINALS for $10 credit.
I think if one of us wins that, Rod, are we obliged to put that future on the Patriots 49ers exact Super Bowl matchup?
That would be fun. I think we should do exactly that if one of us does win that.
Probably get a pretty good number on that. So with your $1,000 future,
you would get a huge number on that one for sure. Yeah, I mean, probably. I know one half is going to live up to it. I don't just know about the other half.
Yeah, we'll see how the 49ers season is, but we know the Patriots will be there.
Jess checking in. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, Jess. JDK talking about unless they decide not to pay up, we're going to stay positive.
We're going to try.
We're going to try. JDK, afternoon, fellas.
JDK. Good to
Hello,
see you.
JDK. That's right.
Ty Tiger checking in as well. My favorite racing peoples. Hey, what's up, Ty Tiger? Good to see you again.
Good to see you. All right. So is there any news that we didn't talk about yesterday when we were talking through some stuff? I don't think there's really any crazy news going on.
Yeah, I don't think there's really been any big news. I mean, the Cadillac named their F1 drivers, and they're not anybody from the NASCAR world. So I guess there's that if you're interested in that. But otherwise, not really. I mean, there's the lawsuit stuff. Again, we're going to continue to see how that goes. NASCAR is saying that they want to sell a charter that, I don't know. The whole thing's very confusing, and I think at this point we just kind of let this continue to play out and see where it lands.
Speculation hurts the brain on that one. There's just nothing. There's nothing.
Well, it's just like we've speculated plenty on it, but at some point it's just like, I mean, we can't really. There's not much more we can really talk about that, And the Tyler Reddick thing, I think, if Bob Pockrass were reporting or Jenna Fryer were reporting, they're not, by the way. Don't believe the fake screenshots you see on Facebook, because not everything you see on the internet's real. Abraham Lincoln once said that. But then maybe we would dive deeper into what could Reddick do next year, but I don't think we're at that point yet.
We are not at that point. You know what point we are at? It is the Southern 500, the Cookout Southern 500, set for 367 laps around this 1.366 mile paved track of the Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. 501.322 hard fought miles in front of these guys as they begin the playoff rounds. Cody, there's going to be a lot of folks that are just really going to be racing hard for the next round of the playoffs. And as we've seen in this track, it feels like the cream just kind of rises to the top. There's a lot of names that are continuing on the top 10 lists, on the top 5 lists. And it made it hard for me, Cody, I think this week to find outside shots at top 10s.
Oh, I think this is one of the weeks I guess I come into this week with guys circled. So we go to Darlington twice a year. The other race was back in March, I think. It was very early this year. It's much cooler then. It's much hotter now. This is a high tire wear track. The heat is going to make a difference. But the thing that makes a difference, Rod, and the nicknames for this place are the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. If you don't know the layout of it, one side of the track is wider than the other side of the track. So turns 1 and 2 are different than turns 3 and 4. They had to account for the minnow pond over in the turns when they built the track, and they had to make one side bigger than the other. But that makes it a nightmare on drivers. So this track's already too tough to tame. It's already the Lady in Black. Now we come here in the summer. It's the heat of the summer right now in South Carolina. It's going to be extra hard on the tires. Oh, and an extra 100 miles. That I say this every year, and it has held true every single year, Rod. The difference at the end of 400 miles and the end of 500 miles will be massive. You have to take into account that extra 100 miles. And a lot of my handicapping for this race goes into who's going to get me that extra 100 miles. Keep in mind with some people, it's an extra 100 miles for them to step on it. And you know who those people are, and they might do so. But that extra 100 miles will make a drastic difference. The results will likely be different at the end of 400 than they are at the end of the race at 500. So, keep that in mind, because that is a huge, huge difference in this. And I would personally put more stock into how have drivers. There's a lot of things, and we'll talk about it as we go along. But, if you're good at Darlington, are you good at Darlington in the fall race? I care much more about. Still a big sample. Right, looking at the spring race is helpful too. But in the fall race in particular, is what I like to see, and also helps me go to, hey, this veteran guy knows how to take care of his tires, knows how to take care of his equipment. That extra 100 miles in the heat of the summer going to come in big for them.
Yeah, and as I was looking through and doing my research and really paying close attention to the iFantasy race stats and all of the heat charts that he puts out, I went to look for guys that I've seen consistently in the areas that I'm targeting for bets, because there's some really good ones out there this weekend that I really I'm enjoying this card that I'm putting together, because it just feels like there's enough coverage on some really good drivers, and especially really good drivers on this track that are doing well this time around. So I left one for you, Cody, because you put him in the outright, and I was going to pick a head-to-head with him, and I was like, nah, I'll let you just paint the picture for the guy you wanted to paint. So I didn't want to take away from that, but I'm excited about him as well, though, to be honest.
Add on. Okay, well, that's good. I like to hear that. I don't have any head-to-heads that made my card, Rod. I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned to the Best Bets article at sportsgamblingpodcast.com if I find one I like a little bit more. But don't worry, it's a loaded card nonetheless. Andrew says he's excited to be here live with us again. Let's move some lines. We plan to do so. Derek checking in. Of course, one of the original Zebra nickname guys, but Hot Rod and the Zebra. Ross, the Lady in Black winner. Is Ross still racing? Fooled me if he is. I just don't see it. I'm out on the one car right now. I know he's in the playoffs, but rough. Nico checking in.
I've got thoughts on him in another area. Let's put it that way.
Okay, there you go. Nico checking in just in time for his drive to work in the morning, Rod. Isn't it so weird that it's already morning time down under for Mr. Nico? JDK wants to bet on Kyle Busch, crashes in practice. Hey, you got 500 miles. He's got plenty of time. Ryan checking in. Shout out to Ryan. He loves your baseball team. I know he's a big San Francisco Giants fan. So, there you go. And Andrew predicting that Kyle Busch will be fastest in practice. We know that'll get Rowdy excited over in the Discord. And then he probably won't do much with it.
Love it. No, hey, Ryan, listen, I don't know if you've ever watched a Giants game live at Oracle or AT&T or
I know I know Ryan personally, and he's been there plenty of times. He's a huge fan.
Gorgeous ballpark. Just a beautiful site. And I love the site from the press box. Man, you make me excited. I want to go back to another game sooner rather than later. So Yes, definitely. All right. Well then, Cody, I guess it is time to get to the bets and start talking about what we like from this Southern 500, because we've both got some packed cards. But before we do, let me tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Your home for NFL and college football. MyBookie's $100,000 NFL Super Contest, only a $15 entry, and they're offering by 2 entries, get 1 free. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There's easy deposit and lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. It would not be a show if I did not introduce you to a brand new sport that I just found. Well, it's not brand new. It's actually pretty damn old, but I'm just finding out about it today. I was today old when I found the Pro Kabaddi League. What's Kabaddi, you ask? Go Google it. Go YouTube it. It's like tag on steroids. It's fantastic. It's an Indian game. Look, I can't even explain it to you and do you justice on it. Just go watch it. Kabaddi. It's Kabaddi. You can find it on MyBookie. It's the Telugu Titans versus the UP Yoda. And I'm going to take the Telugu Titans plus 114. Why? Because I don't know anything about it yet, and I'm about to learn all about it. So I'm going to take the underdogs in this one. So go look up the Pro Kabaddi League over there on MyBookie. Yes, they have got sports that you've never, ever heard of before, and I absolutely love it. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Let's tell you about our friends over at Rhythm. All of our friends. The NFL is back, ladies and gentlemen, at Rhythm. Last season, Rhythm was 76-66 against the spread and 22-19. I'm going to look for that. I thought I had that one, but I guess I don't. All right. I'm sorry, guys. Don't fire me. I'll get it loaded up again. Last season, Rhythm, like I said, 76-66 against the spread, 22-19 on over-unders. They really shined on player props. How about Baker Mayfield? They were 10-5 on Baker Mayfield props for 25% ROI. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA, golf, and college football. Go to the site today and start building your NFL models for week 1 and get your 7-day free trial in the process by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. I got all excited about Kabaddi, and I just completely forgot that I did not upload the other Rhythm graphic in there. So apologies, Rhythm.
A phrase that's never been uttered before. I got all excited about Kabaddi.
I swear to God, this is why, you guys. I love it because I am a sports junkie from through and through, and it doesn't matter what it's like. I started watching this Kabaddi before we jumped onto the show, and I was like, I don't want to do this show because now all I want to do is watch Kabaddi. So, it's got me enthralled.
I love that about you, Rod. I really do.
I know. All right. Well, we're here to talk NASCAR. We're here to talk the Southern 500, something we all know something about. And like I said, Cody, it's going to be fun. Not a traditional mile and a half, not a short track. It is its own lady. It is its own beast, and they're looking to tame it. So I think we should start building our cards. What about you?
I think we should, Rod. 38 cars on the entry list. They will all make the race. Derek Kraus is going to be in the 44. Josh Bilicki going to check in the 66 car. So those are your only open things, only different cars. Well, not the only open cars technically. But, they're the only additional cars this week. So that's about it. So let's jump into it, Rod. I'm going to start with a poll award. One shot wonder this week. Chase Briscoe, he's plus 450. I know he's the favorite. Don't care. I'm in on Chase Briscoe to win this poll. He has been strong here in particular. He started 4th here in the spring. Remember, we were here early on in the spring. They were still figuring things out in this 19 car. He didn't know how to drive a car that could drive this good, that could drive this fast. Now he's figured it out if you've not noticed. But started 4th place here in the spring. Last year in the fall, in the Stewart-Haas car going away, he started in 3rd place. So you like to see that. Obviously, lately, pole at Iowa, pole at Indy, 2nd at Dover. Dover, by the way, one of the 2 comp tracks that Ryan over at iFantasy Race lists for this track in particular. Michigan, high speed, tire wear, intermediate, pole there. Won the pole at Charlotte as well. So they've been really fast this season when it comes to qualifying. And I think that trend is going to continue and just going straight for the top here. And I think plus 450, some weeks it's been plus 200, plus 250. My plus 450, I think, is a pretty good number. And I get it earlier in the week rather than later because I do not think that will stand. All right, Rod, mentioned at the top of the show, Caesars. And if you didn't catch all of our talking, we did a bonus episode yesterday, if you've not noticed yet, in your feed. We talked about the playoff predictions. We filled out our brackets, gave out futures bets for all three series as the Cup and Trucks are into the playoffs. Xfinity enters the playoffs here soon, but covered all three of them. And we had our little rant about Caesars and how they didn't want to pay out Zilich and all that. So go back and listen to that. But on the positive side, I will say Caesars is back to offering the driver finishing positions. It's actually easier to find now. You don't have to go into the back alley anymore. They've at least cleaned that up. So they're slowly improving on some things, I guess. They don't pay you out, but that's fine. So driver finishing positions, I will say these are generally only up early in the week. I think in the past they've been gone by Thursday. So I would not wait on these. And they have not, at least in the past, reposted them. This is the first time we've seen them. I think we saw them early in the season, but it's been a while. They typically don't get reposted. So if you're a wait till after qualifying guy, you're not going to be able to bet on this section most likely, right? So I get it early, and the numbers move drastically pretty quick once people start jumping on it. So do not wait on these. But I'm going to start off with two that I really like, and they're both out of the Colleague camp, actually. I'm going to start with A.J. Allmendinger. Under 18.5, which would be better than 18.5. Maybe double check on that with them because
I actually. So wait, I did Google it real quick, and that is correct. Under is better than, and lower.
But you might want to get it in writing from them. just
that is
true.
That is true.
Okay, I'm done ragging on Caesars for now. That's for you, Andrew. Got your back, buddy. Okay, AJ Allmendinger under 18.5, minus 125. I absolutely love this. He's got an 18.0 average finish in the next gen era here throughout the Darlington races. Only 3 starts for him, but I like it. 18th place here in the spring, so you like that. 13th place last fall. That was his only Southern 500 start in the next gen era. But you think of guys who can save their tires, smart, crafty veterans that can take these cars that extra 100 miles, get to the end. AJ Allmendinger is one of the first guys that pops into mind. You got to go all the way back to 2018 for his last Southern 500 start, but he did finish 22nd in that one. So, not too far from this. That was in the 47 car. He's in a much better situation now than he was at that time. So you like that. The Coca-Cola 600 is actually a race that I've been looking at, Rod, in comparison to this because of the fact that it is 600 miles. And if you can make it to the end of the extra 200 miles there, I bet probably actually equates to 100 miles here because this track is so much tougher, right? So while the tracks themselves aren't super comparable, the races are comparable. And he finished 4th place in the Coca-Cola 600. Survive, last till the end. He's great at that. You want some high tire wear intermediate tracks? 8th place at Las Vegas, 17th place at Michigan, 7th place at Miami. He's been able to get it done. And then just for the record, too, Ryan over at iFantasy Race, no direct comps to Darlington, and there truly isn't. But he uses Dover, he uses Miami as the 2 higher tire wear, fast, slick intermediates, basically, that he kind of looks at. So I think that, Michigan, Las Vegas, Kansas can also be used a little more loosely, but I think when you're kind of looking at a body of work, those are great comparisons. So AJ Allmendinger under 18.5. And then his teammate Ty Dillon, I'm going to take him under 24.5 at minus 105. His average finish in the next gen here, 21.2. So also better than that. Finished 16th place here in the spring. And keep in mind, this is the best season Ty Dillon has ever had in his extensive Cup Series career. But he finished 22nd place here in the fall at 22. When he was full-time back then, the last time. Actually, I don't think he was full-time. I think he was running part-time for Colleague at the time. But then you go back in the old car, in the 13 car that we've talked about before, the Germain Racing car, not great. 27th, 21st, 13th. Like 2 of those last 3 runs here in the Southern 500 in particular were easily cleared at this 24.5 number. So you like that. And then you go back to Dover, 20th place there. Las Vegas, 21st place. The Coke 600, 19th place. Also 6 of the last 9 races. It's been all sorts of different types of tracks, all sorts of different styles, everything. 6 of the last 9 races, he's also finished better than the 24.5. So Ty Dillon under 24.5. And then again, under would be to finish better than, if we were looking at this in underdog terms, it'd be the better than side of things. But of course, Caesars has to word things confusingly. Shocking. So yeah, there we are.
Absolutely love it. Well, you don't have to. I'm never going to argue with you on any sort of Colleague racing things because I love me some AJ Allmendinger and Ty Dillon by extension. So I'm with you on both of those. And there's such they're such low projections. Like it just the bar does not need to be cleared by much for these guys.
And that's like that's why I wish we got more of these, right? And that's why I love Underdog, where they don't get as deep, unfortunately, usually, but I wish they would a little bit more. But you don't have to worry about Ty Dillon, like top 10. Sure, it's going to be a big number, but is it really going to hit? No, you could sweat him out racing for 24th and 25th in the last lap all the way till the 500 miles at Darlington. Like, that's great. That's beautiful. That's lovely. You don't get that opportunity very often. And, if he's running 24th, well, the top 10's out of the picture, so I don't have to worry about it, right? You'd still actually have something in the game. So I like that part of it.
Speaking of having something in the game with a 24th place finish, how about SVG? SVG, not trying to sweat his top 10, not trying to sweat ahead. I'm literally just asking him to finish 24th place at Darlington, which he's already done once before. He finished 20th in the spring race here after starting 36th. Now, listen, I understand that this is an oval. I understand that this is something that a lot of people like to count him out on, but I will say that the last time he was here, he was in the 16 car in the Southern 500, and he finished 26th. Rod, that's not 24th. I get it, but that's still 2 spots out in the 16 car, first and foremost.
And he's drastically improved from that point.
Well, that's too. Exactly. And he led 4 laps in that race too. Overall, I know strategy played a large part in that, but you want to talk about some of these other things like Nashville, right? Nashville is a 1.33 mile track as well. And so this year for him, he finished 25th in Nashville, which again, you say, Rod, that's not 24th. I know, but that's 25th in Nashville in a stretch where he finished 38th at Bristol, 29th at Talladega, 22nd at Kansas, or 22nd at Texas, rather, 20th at Kansas, 14th at Charlotte, 18th at Michigan. You want to talk about that? We were talking about Michigan being something close. 19th, though, he just finished recently at Indianapolis. Obviously won Watkins Glen. But here's the thing. The last couple of races for SVG, right? This is where we start to see maybe him being a little better, a kind of a top 20 contending car, because he was the last 2 weeks in tracks that he's not comfortable with, right? Richmond, 14th. He started 27th that day, finished 14th. And he was a car that was actually contending for a top spot there at points. And for him to fall back was a little tough, but whatever. And the same with Daytona, right? He was actually up in the mix at Daytona. He ended up finishing 16th that race. Now I get it. It's a super speedway and a short track, but I mean, look, if we're talking about ovals being ovals and SVG sort of picking up the notes on how to get around these things without wrecking, right? We know Trackhouse is fast enough to turn in a top 20 performance on all of their cars, right? The drivers, say what you will, but I know that their cars are fast enough to be top 20 cars each and every week. They just got to put it together. And SVG, I think he's got a lot on the line, right? He's got to prove that he's in this. You want to talk about something to prove, right? We're talking about proving to new teams. Now, how about proving to your old team that their faith in you is justified and that you can get past round 1 of the playoffs and get to that Roval in the next round to end up advancing again. So, I mean, SVG, all I got to do is ask for a 24th place finish out of him. I know it's tough, and I know you hold your breath, but his average finish this year overall, about 21.1. So his average finish alone should get him home. If he just stays to the average, he's going to go ahead and cash this bet. So it's Shane Van Gisbergen, finishing position, 24.5 under, minus 115 over there on Caesars.
Yeah, I kind of like this, and they're in the playoffs now, right? And they fully understand that they've got to go out, just run a decent race. They're not under any illusions they're going to win any of these first 3 races. They absolutely understand that they will not. They have to go get the best possible finish for these 3 races, get to the next round. Because if you get to the next round, the Roval is looming right there in front of them. Their entire goal will be to go win that. And suddenly you're in the round of 8 and craziness, right? But that's why they can't have any bad races at all, period, in this, because they're not going to be able to make it up with a great performance through these first 3 races. So that's why I love having a finishing position like this, right? Could you bet his top 10? He's probably not going to be competing for a top 10. He's not going to push that hard. He's going to go out there, take care of his equipment, and just have a good run. And you think of crafty veterans, good at saving tires, all this stuff. Yeah, I know he's not an oval guy, but he knows how to do those things. He knows how to save fuel, and we saw that kind of be something that came into play last year with Chase Briscoe's win. So I like that. Of course, we have a couple of SVG experts in the chat. TK says it's a good track for him as long as he can stay out of trouble. And Nico says he will. He loves this track, one of his favorite ovals. And TK was as well saying he tends to default to the high line against the wall, stay in a rhythm, like on road courses, not great at fighting other cars, but good at maintaining position and equipment. And that kind of plays into what JDK was saying as well with Steve Letarte had brought up, him running the high line at Richmond was kind of practice for Darlington. So I do think that he's going to come in and just mind his P's and Q's and take care of it, get to the end. That extra 100 miles plays in. You give him time on anything to learn and get better as a race goes on. That it's a scary thing. And let's not forget, we're like 40 starts into this man's career. On ovals, he's going to get to the point where it's going to be scary for other people probably. So, I love this. And I love that we have the opportunity to bet on this. So I guess Caesar's trying to get some whatever. I don't know. Brownie points with us.
Get back into the good graces of the rest of the bettors, and that's fine. Like I said, I'll take it. I'm a forgiving guy, but and then if you look too with just the last point on SVG start position, 34th and 36th, then he's managed to get up into the top 25 or at least close to it in both of those. So I have faith that he'll do it now that he's learned a few more tricks, and he'll get there. So absolutely love it. All right, we'll come back with more of our favorite bets. But first, let me tell you about Underdog's Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long. They're giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire. There's no arguments about trades. Best Ball is quite literally the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog's also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Yes, the NFL is back, baby. And once again, Jalen Hurts higher than a half of a rushing and receiving touchdown. But let's face it, it's going to be rushing. And we know that. I know it only gives you 0.86 times your money, but I guarantee you that is always free money when we're talking about Jalen Hurts pushing his way across the damn goal line. The tush push, which is controversial all over the place. But yeah, give me Jalen Hurts higher than a half of a rushing touchdown on Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer too for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code RACESGPN. The world's greatest sportsbook, Circa Las Vegas, is hosting the world's biggest pro football contests, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo, with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Go sign up in Nevada. Play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get $50 off of your proxy fees. Contest closes on Saturday, September the 6th, so get in now. All right, Cody. Well, then let us continue down our betting card. What do you got
next up for me, going back to old reliable Chase Briscoe. He's made us a ton of money this year. Going to continue to ride that train. Rowdy said it yesterday, ride that train till the wheels fall off. Hopefully they don't fall off until we get past Phoenix, Rod. That's the goal. But I'm going to take his top five. Plus 220 for Mr. Briscoe. He's the reigning race winner here, Rod. So he can get it done in the extra 100 miles. Oh, by the way, that was at a Stewart-Haas team that had lost multiple people because they jumped ship early. That was at a Stewart-Haas team that had, 12 races left at the time before they knew they were going to be closing their doors. That was at a Stewart-Haas team that's a quarter of what this JGR team is. Oh, and he's clicking on all cylinders now, so you do love to see that. The spring race wasn't the greatest for them, but he struggled early this year, trying to figure things out, trying to get in the cycle of things, I guess is what I was going for. I don't know what I was going for there. But he's been top five in two of the last three races here. So, last spring with Stewart-Haas and then in the fall as well with Stewart-Haas. So great runs for him. Two of the last three races here. This season, he's been top five in four of the last 7 races. But you go back and you look at some of these comparable places. The Coca-Cola 600 long race, 3rd place finish. Kansas, high tire wear intermediate, 4th place. Miami, high tire wear intermediate, 4th place. He's had some good runs. He's been on fire here lately. We're already taking him to win the pole, so he's going to have that track position to open the race up. All things have been clicking for Chase Briscoe. I think that's going to continue. So give me the top 5 at plus 220. And then I'm going to go with I'm going to do this a little bit backwards, but I'm going to go with my long shot top 10 first. And that's AJ Allmendinger. I just laid out the entire case for him to finish under 18.5 or better than 18.5. You can also get him at 10-1 for a top 10. I've already laid out the case for why I think he's going to finish in the top 18. Let's up that a little bit now to the top 10 finish, which he's highly capable of doing. So going to tack that one on there with the Briscoe top 5 at plus 220, the AJ Allmendinger top 10 at 10-1.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, the Briscoe one is the one I was all over too. I definitely love Briscoe on this track. I think there's going to be a lot for him to. The momentum he's riding right now is just clutch, and I think he's going to continue to do that, especially on this track. Because I think that Gibbs altogether, you're giving out a couple. I was almost going to give out Gibbs as a winning manufacturer bet later on, because I feel like that is actually a pretty decent shot too, because you got a couple of them there. But John, man, throwing so much shade at
you were with
SVG.
us yesterday, John. We had him getting eliminated early in the playoffs. We don't think, we're not pounding the drum for him to go crazy, but all he has to do is finish 24th or better. That's where I can't stress enough separating betting from just, everything else, right? Is he doesn't have to go make the next round of playoffs to cash his bets. He just has to take care of stuff in the first race of the playoffs, which is what their goal is going to be. Maybe they're going to get desperate by the third race of the first round, right? And then you get more worried. But this first race, all he has to do is finish top 24. That's what you're looking for. I don't care how many stage points he has in an oval. You don't need stage points to finish 24th. So, he's not going to be racing for stage points. Great. He's going to be racing for a better finishing position. That's even better. So Nico's concerned about calling equipment making the distance. That's always a concern, Nico. I will say that. That's always a concern. But AJ has been able to do it multiple times in the past. Had a good 600 run, so we're going to hope that calling equipment can last. Although Chevy might be upset with them at this point in time, right?
I mean, especially because they're going to Ram, for the Truck Series. That's definitely not something you want to signal the coming of your, hey, we sponsor you, and no, not anymore.
Well, it's 2025. A lot of people are open to having a side thing. Well, the main piece knows, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, listen, NASCAR, they've proven that they don't like side pieces. So, all right. So the SVG shade is
one more thing too. Just Denver with a good point here. No pressure really on the playoffs to run like the other 15 drivers have. I think that's very accurate. I think there's not a ton of pressure. He made it. He's got 4 wins. Now just go out and mind the P's and Q's. And again, that's why that bet in particular is so great, because he just has to go out and have a decent race and run his thing. If he doesn't make it to the next round of the playoffs, he's not supposed to make it to the next round of the playoffs. So who cares, right? But then it could turn around where suddenly we're talking about, he wins the Roval, he's in the 8, he wins at Talladega or something, he's in the 4. Could be a crazy run, but he's not supposed to. So just go out, mind his P's and Q's, and that's why we think he's going to have such a good run.
I feel like we spent way too much time on SVG. So let's get to the people that I really, really, really like, and that is Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hot Rod Special on Caesars. They did this just for me. See, they're trying to appease to the world, right? They've got Ty Gibbs in a head-to-head matchup against Carson Hocevar. That has me written all over it. Now, if you're sitting there in your car or you have your headphones on and you're sitting on the train, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how on the God's green earth is Rod going to pick a side on this one? Well, guess what? I am going to pick a side on this one. And it's not the side you think. It's like, who do I hate worse? And then I had to pick the other one. So how about Ty Gibbs? I'm going to take Ty Gibbs over Carson Hocevar. So there, the many, many people that we've lost over the course of the couple of seasons because of my Ty Gibbs.
I don't think that guy listens anymore.
And that's fine. I don't care. Listen, if you okay, I'm done. Ty Gibbs over Carson Hocevar, minus 115 over on Caesars. I mean, and you know how much I can't stand either one of these guys, right? I mean, it's honestly just, it was pulling teeth, but I thought this would be a fun matchup to dive into, because it was like, well, okay, out of these two, who do I think really is the worst out of the two? And right now it's Carson Hocevar, right? If you look, he had a 10th place finish at Indy and an 8th place finish at Iowa. But other than that, 35th at Chicago, 32nd at Sonoma, 35th at Dover. And then you turn around the last 3 races, 18th at Watkins Glen, 15th at Richmond, 34th at Daytona. You're going to say, oh, but those aren't bad finishes, Rod. I get that, but they're still garbage. I don't care. He's just not running well, and that's fine. But Ty Gibbs, on the other hand, actually running a lot better since his 31st place finish in Nashville. 3rd at Michigan, 11th at Mexico City, 14th at Dover, 14th at Atlanta, 2nd at Chicago, 7th at Sonoma, 5th at Dover. If you remember, those numbers were not good for Carson Hocevar. 21st at Indy, yeah, okay, got him there. 21st at Iowa, yeah, okay, Carson got Gibbs there. 33rd at Watkins Glen, he got him there too. 18th at Richmond, fine, he got him there too. But last week at Daytona, an 8th place finish. This is one that I'm only going to be happy that neither one of them are going to win, but one of them has to win it, right? So I think on the flip side of this, Ty Gibbs overall. And then if you look at what they did here earlier this season, Ty Gibbs finished 9th in this particular race, whereas Carson Hocevar finished in 32nd. Surprise, surprise, he finished poorly. But I'll say that I also, like I said, I was going to take Gibbs as a winning manufacturer bet in this because these guys all run well at this track. Denny runs well. Briscoe runs well. Bell runs well. Ty Gibbs is in a Gibbs car, and he's going to run well. Carson Hocevar will go step on it and end up finishing
yeah. The comment at the top of the show where I said guys could step on it. He's one of two drivers in particular that I was thinking about, and that has to concern you with Carson Hocevar is there's a good chance that he runs fast and looks good, and then he steps on it, and that can happen with him. So, yeah, Gibbs is the guy I would take here too. Hocevar's kind of cooled off a little bit lately. I know we've been at some weird tracks too, so that makes some of things harder to measure. With his over aggressiveness,
not hard to measure for me. That tape is that tape measure is huge for me. I can measure that.
I'm just glad you're all in on Ty Gibbs, Rod. That's really what
yes, that's the takeaway from this.
That's what I got out of it, anyways. So, next up for me, Brad Keselowski, even money for a top 10. I like this one. Another guy that you think of, and you think of guys that can go the distance, guys that can make things last. Wait, what are we talking about?
Blue Chew.
Yeah, new sponsor. No, but Keselowski, that extra miles, those play into hand for him, right? He finished 6th place here in the 500 back in 2023, 7th place here in 2022. A little bit of a rougher year last year. He also won here in the spring of 2023. So been good at this track in particular. And really, if you look at his time in the next gen era, which is when he switched over to RFK, he really struggled at the beginning, but not so much at Darlington. Like, it's all been pretty well good runs here. You go back and you look at some of the comparable tracks throughout the season. 10th place at Dover, 10th place at Michigan, Coca-Cola 600, long race again, 5th place finish there. 11th place back at Las Vegas, even when they were struggling at the beginning of the season, had a good run. I know he's not in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean he's just going to shut things off. They're continuing to build over at RFK. They want to continue to run well, and I think we're still going to see those cars run extremely well. So give me Keselowski, even money for a top 10. And then, speaking of RFK cars, going to go to his teammate, Ryan Preece. You can get his top 10 plus 250. The guys in the Discord have been betting this each and every single week and cashing it a bunch this season. I'm going to ride that train with them. Preece is a guy, when you look back through the Southern 500 races in particular, really jumps out to you. Last year, 12th place in the 41 car for Stewart-Haas in this race. Okay, I like that. What about a previous time that he was in the this is the old car, but back in 2021, 12th place in JTG equipment. 2020, 17th place in JTG equipment in these Southern 500 races. So clearly in much, much lesser equipment that he's been in previously. Stewart-Haas is a downgrade, and JTG was 3 or 4 down. Well, and the old car, 5 or 6 or 7 downgrades from that even. So been able to still get to the end of these long, grueling races and get decent finishes. So some of the comp tracks you look back at: 9th place at Michigan, 9th place at the 600, 3rd place at Las Vegas, 7th place at Kansas. RFK showing a lot of speed on these intermediate tracks, and I think that both these drivers are going to be very good this week as well. So give me Brad Keselowski at even money and Ryan Preece at plus 250 for top 10s.
Yeah, and again, with RFK, these guys, they should be top 10 cars each and every week. It's just frustrating when something happens and much like the host step on it.
Like all of the sweeps we've seen from them for top 10s were at, I think, intermediates, right? It was Michigan. It was, I think Charlotte was one of them. Like Dover might have been another one. So those are the tracks in particular where that team has been really good.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, Trackhouse cars. I'm going to keep on the Trackhouse theme after my SVG love. I'm going to give Ross Chastain some love. A top 10 for him is at plus 120 over on Bet365. I mean, look, Ross Chastain has an average finish here of right around 15.3. However, 3 of the last 4 races on this track have been top 10 finishes. In fact, 2 of those have been top 5 finishes, and both of those were in the fall race as well in the Southern 500. So he's back-to-back top 5 finishes in the Southern 500, a 7th place in the spring this year, an 11th place in the spring of 2024. So again, 2 for 2 in doing this in the fall race, and then 3 for 4 in doing it overall on this one. And for Ross Chastain, I mean, look, I get it. It's been so very, very frustrating because you expect him to be in the top 5, if not winning conversations a lot, right? With the way he stormed on the scene and kind of kept up the steam. And now he's really just the candle holder for the old regime of Trackhouse, knowing that, of course, SVG is nipping at his heels because he's winning races. And then you've got Connor Zilic right there too, that's about to come in and start winning some races as well. So now the heat's on Chastain. You want to talk about motivation? Maybe I guess I didn't know that I was factoring in motivation into it, but Ross Chastain's kind of driving lit fire underneath him right now. And a couple of good finishes lately. 11th place at Iowa, 10th at Watkins Glen, 15th at Daytona. He outlasted some stuff, and then 19th at Richmond earlier. But, you know, he won at Charlotte. He finished 6th at Michigan, 2nd at Texas, 6th at Martinsville. Like I said, a 7th place earlier in the spring in Darlington, 7th place at Bristol. So, you know, overall, he's got 10 top 10 finishes in 26 starts. I just feel like this is a spot where he should be able to do it because he's done it already, and he's done it a few times already. And I think he can hold serve, even having as bad of a season as he's been having as of late, with a 16.2 average finishing position this year. But, you know, it just sometimes takes one track that you're comfortable at to turn it around and make yourself comfortable again. And I think this could be the spot for Rick Chastain to find his way back into the top 10 at plus 120.
Much like his sponsor, Busch Light, a little too flat. Not for me, Rod. Oof. I will pass on Ross Chastain, but I am going to go to the top Ford market and take Ryan Preece over there as well, 16-1. Somebody in the comments yesterday on the playoff show mentioned like Ryan Blaney should be the top Ford every single week from here on out. While I do agree with you, and I was hoping to kind of get a shot at Joey Logano here. Joey's only 4-1. I couldn't pull the trigger, but I was thinking long race, beginning of the playoffs. You might consider him. I will toss that out there. But Fords, look, we know how wide open it can be. You know, Blaney, things can go wrong. We've seen that plenty. Playoff drivers always seem to – there's going to be 2 or 3 playoff drivers who have weird things happen in this race. Random flat tire, crazy pit penalty, crash, just, you know, caught up in a big one all of a sudden at Darlington. Like, things get crazy when the playoffs happen and for guys that are in the playoffs. So you're going to see it. But once you get past Blaney and Logano, then the next guys on the list are RFK, Cars, and Keselowski, RFK and Buescher. Cindric is on there. Barry's on there. Ryan Preece is the next guy on that list. But we've talked about his ability in lesser equipment to last long in this race and how good he's run on the higher speed, intermediate tracks, higher tire wear, intermediate tracks earlier on this season. So kind of all in on Ryan Preece a little bit this weekend, and I like him for top Ford at 16-1.
Not bad. I mean, again, because he's one of the guys that you tend to overlook because of the fact that Keselowski and Buescher are in there, and then Preece is just there. I mean, unless he's, you know, flipping over and sending himself into the air, and you know, was it him or Alex Bowman that wore the Maverick?
It was him. Yeah, he led completely into it, which was really just pretty cool to see. But is it just me, or has Chris Buescher not run well late? Like I don't know. I don't really. I've not been super interested in Chris Buescher as of late, and I don't know why that is.
I feel like it's because there's not. I mean, it has been good finishes, but not the best, right?
I mean, 7th at Daytona, 3rd at Watkins Glen, but outside of that, like no top 10 since Atlanta or Pocono, I guess. No, Atlanta, yeah. So it's been a while. Yeah, he's not running as well.
Yeah, and your eyes are not lying to you. Corey is pulling the trigger on Logano. Top Ford. I don't think that's a bad.
No, Logano really 5th best average finish here in the next gen era. And then obviously when you factor in the fall race and factor in that extra 100 miles, he's definitely a guy you think of. Like 8th place last year, 12th and 23 in this race, 4th and 22. He did win here in May of 22 as well. And then going back to pre-next gen era, he's also been very good. So 4-1, not big enough for me when he's such a hard guy to like. And if this was, you know, if it's 2024, 2026, I'm fucking betting this. And next year, I'm just going all in. Everything's Joey Logano next year because the even year thing, but it's not his year, Corey.
No, it is not his year. It is an odd year.
Or is it?
Oh, who knows? Yeah, maybe he breaks the curse. Who knows? All right, Marcus, pick up your earphones and hold tight because I'm about to talk about your favorite driver in the entire world, Christopher Bell. I do love his top 5 number. I'm surprised that Christopher Bell's top 5 number is at plus 220. That is a hell of a number for a guy who finished 3rd here in the fall race last year and has the 2nd highest average finish here in the next gen era. William Byron tops that chart at 9.1. Christopher Bell comes in at 9.6. Earlier this season, Christopher Bell finished 3rd. Now that was just before he started to rip off a ton of impressive wins, right? So a 3rd place for him there, and then a 3rd place for him in the fall of 2024. He does also have another top 5 finish in the fall of 2022. And then the spring of 2022, he ended up finishing in 6th place. 3 bad finishes kind of dragged down that average. A 14th place in 2023, a 23rd place that fall, and then a 13th place to start off the 2024 season. But I feel like he's righted the ship. I feel like with Christopher Bell, and the Gibbs cars we said are going to be good here. So there's no reason to think that Christopher Bell can't find his way back up into the top 5 at least, and plus 220 for a top 5 for Christopher Bell. He's got 9 of them so far this season, by the way, top 5 finishes. One of those was at Watkins Glen. Another one was at Sonoma. Another one was at Mexico City. Oh, look, they're all road courses, but a 2nd at Kansas as well. Darlington, he finished 3rd. Martinsville, he finished 2nd. Phoenix, he won, obviously. So, he can get this done. And he's a good enough driver. He's a playoff driver. I just don't know why his top 5 number is plus 220. And then if you want to get really froggy, his top 3 number is at plus 400. And like I said, he did this last fall. He did it this spring. Now, if you think he can finish top 3 in a row, then that's all you. But I'm more comfortable at plus 220, taking a little dump or a little bite off of the profit margin here to say he can finish safely in the top 5. So give me Christopher Bell, top 5 plus 220, and top 3, if you really love it, at 4-1.
Well, I'll tell you why, because the last time he had a top 5 on an oval was May 11th back at Kansas. I think that's why the number is this size. I gave him out yesterday. Spoiler, if you haven't listened to the playoff show, as one of my best bets for the championship, because I think if he can get there, he's going to be worth having the bet on. But they got to start figuring some stuff out. I'm a little hesitant to bet on him at the moment. That being said, he's been good in this race. This track also, with the abrasive surface, the high tire wear, does lean into dirt track guys. Chase Briscoe I've talked about kind of throughout the day. Definitely a guy that's been good here. Christopher Bell can be good. Kyle Larson's been good here. He's just hard to bet on always. That's why we don't bring him up much, because it is tough. But also, shout out to Jonathan, Rod. He's checking in. Listen on Spotify while he's at work. First time getting on a live show. Appreciate you guys doing these. Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you live. Corey's got a question, Rod. He wants to know Group F. Jones, Dillon, I'm going to assume that's Austin, Gregson, and Suarez. Is Jones the clear winner, or does Dillon make it too risky? Well, welcome into the car lift, Rod, because it is Erik Jones car lift. So, of course, you're taking him in this one. It's Erik Jones week. I have been salivating, waiting. I've saved him in all my one and done pools. Everything Erik Jones this week at Darlington. Erik Jones likes Darlington, but he loves the Southern 500. When the lights are the brightest, that extra 100 miles makes a huge difference for Erik Jones. You can get him over at Caesars under 17.5. Stop what you're doing and run over there and bet this right now. This is the bet of the week right here. It's not going to be around long. It's not going to stay at this number long. Under 17.5 for Erik Jones. Go hammer that. Then you get his top 10 at 4-1. You can get his top 5 at 13-1. Top finishing Toyota at 33-1. Win the race 80-1. Oh, man, it's going to be beautiful when he cashes these. 17th place here in the spring, so not the best of runs, but okay. If you're looking at the and yeah, Andrew, yes, Erik Jones 80-1 outright on MGM. I'm sure it's in the doc. You're correct. It was the first thing I put in the doc before I even sent the doc to Rod, because I wanted to make sure that I put the Erik Jones car lift in there and went ahead and put that 80-1 in there to win. But so not the greatest run in the spring, but okay, 17th, right? That's better than 17.5, so you like that. And Legacy, obviously, is having one of their better seasons so far this year. 24th in the 500 last year wasn't his year. But prior to that, 10th place here in 2023. So he cashes the 17.5. He cashes the top 10 for you. He won here in Legacy Motor Club 43 car in 2022 in the Next Gen era in the Southern 500. 2020, he finished 4th place here. He won here in 2019. That was with Joe Gibbs racing in the 20 car, but very good here in these races in particular. 8th place back in 2018, and even in the 77 car for Furniture Row Racing, he was 5th place here in his first start in the Southern 500 in 2017. Some recent races where he's done well. 11th place at Michigan, 13th place at Charlotte, 15th place at Miami. You want to toss Texas in there as an intermediate where he ran 5th, so he's got that upside of running as good as a 5th place finish. I like that. So some decent runs at some of those places, but you add in Erik Jones's personal favorite race. This is the one Corey LaJoy always asks that question on his podcast. You could race one car on one track forever. It's got to be the Southern 500 for Erik Jones because he's just really good at this race in particular. In the extra 100 miles here makes all the difference for Erik Jones. I absolutely am in love with Erik Jones this week, and I'm all about him, taking all these bets on him. Throw the groups in there, head-to-heads. I don't care whatever it is. 150 to 1 outright for – is that
TK?
Is that what he's saying? 150 to 1 for TK? Whew. If you're down under 150 to 1, do it. Let's go. Everything Erik Jones, Rod. It is Erik Jones week. Happy Erik Jones week to all who celebrate. Hopefully it'll be all of you.
I am not going to sing because I really want to sing Erik Jones and me, but I won't.
You could sing it next week after he cashes the car lift for us, Rod.
Okay.
We'll do the whole fucking song. I would sing it, but nobody wants me to sing. So we'll let you do it, and it'll be beautiful.
So what I'll do is I'll have Adam from the Counting Crows actually record Erik Jones and me. I'll spend my cameo money for him to just sing Erik Jones and me. I love it.
Okay. We can make that happen.
We can make that happen. All right. I'm going to go right back to a winning car number because it's been a long time since I've done a winning car number. And this band to me kind of makes it intriguing because it is the highest of the bands and it gives me 2 Joe Gibbs cars. And again, I was going to do the whole Joe Gibbs outright, but I was like, well, then you just bet Denny Hamlin outright and you'll talk about that in a second, or you bet Briscoe outright and whatever. So I'm just going to take the number band 18 to 23. And this is a plus 270 over on Caesars. And that does end up getting you Briscoe. It ends up getting you Christopher Bell, who are 2 of the cars that I'm really, really, it gives you Kyle Busch in the 18. Oh, wait, no, that's a long time ago. And then it gives you Josh Berry, who could accidentally win a race. We've seen that before. And then it gives you Joey Logano and Bubba Wallace, right? 2 playoff drivers who definitely have to really do some work if they want to continue on into the playoffs. So it's got a pretty good mix. I think for me, the 2 Gibbs cars are the ones that really, I don't have to decide between the 2. I don't have to bet on Christopher Bell to win because he hasn't done it right in the next gen era. So I can't really predict that that's going to happen. Sorry, Marcus. And then of course for Briscoe, you can also bet that too. And then you're doubling down on it. And then you're not heartbroken if it doesn't happen and somebody else in that band wins. So I don't know. I like the price and the drivers are okay enough for me to suggest this.
Sorry, what number does Erik Jones drive?
Not that one, but that's okay. Cause if he does an 80 to 1, you don't care that you've lost this one.
True. You have a good point. So yeah, Erik
saying?
Jones, make sure you bet him. In addition to Erik Jones, of course, we got a couple of other outrights. Look, Denny Hamlin at 6 to 1. I think that going into the playoffs, he's been talking more and more, like almost concerningly a lot about these being his final 2 seasons in the Cup Series. Basically, I've only got so many more chances to do this is kind of the line he keeps using. I've only got so many more of those. Said that after the Brickyard 400. I've only got 2 more of these to do that. So he's in that mindset. He won here in the spring, only led 10 laps, surprisingly, but he did win here. He's been great at this track in particular, and he's been very good here, whether it's the spring race, whether it's the fall race, all of it. So he had a win here in the spring. He was 7th here last fall in the 500, 4th place in the spring of 24. Did have a rough day in the fall of 23 in the 500. He won both stages and led 177 laps after starting 2nd. But I don't remember what happened in that one. Must have got caught up in a wreck because he finished in 25th. 12th here in the spring, but 2nd place in the fall of 22. He won the Southern 500, leading 146 laps in 21. 13th place in 2020, but he won here in the spring of 2020. 5th in the other race here in the spring of 2020 when we had races within 3 days of each other, Rod, the good old days. But won the Southern 500 here in 2017, 10th in 2018, 4th in 2016, 3rd in 2015. And then we didn't have the Southern 500 before that, but a lot of second firsts in that time that we left the Southern 500 territory. But Denny Hamlin, extremely good here. He's obviously been very, very good this season. It's quieted down the last couple of weeks as we've had super speedways, we've had road courses. I'm not overly worried about that kind of stuff. I think that he's been the best driver recently, on ovals in particular. I think you just don't overthink this. A track he's very good at. Remember all the times he's run the Xfinity race here just because it's one of his favorite tracks. He's great at it. Again, you think of guys who are good at tire management, getting to the end of these races. Denny Hamlin's probably the top guy on that list at this point in time in the series. So 6-1, I think you don't overthink it. Some of these other outrights up here, sorry, Rod, are a little bit laughable at the numbers they're at. And yeah, Andrew got him plus 650 on ESPN with his bonus bet. So I like that as well. Chase Briscoe going to continue to ride this train again until the wheels fall off. 13-1 at FanDuel. I've already talked about him a lot, but defending race winner here in a much, much lesser car at Stewart-Haas. 13-1, still too big of a number for a guy that has finished top 5 in 4 of the last 7 races. I believe 3 of those have been second place finishes. So he's right there each and every week. One of the best cars each and every week. And really, I put him right there with Denny Hamlin at this point, and he's 13-1. So I like that. And then Brad Keselowski's 19-1. I'm going to get a little piece of that as well. Obviously won here a couple of years ago in the spring, broke that long drought. The drought kind of getting back up there at this point in time. Maybe time for him to snap one off. And we've seen before, Erik Jones notably in 2022, you get into the playoffs and it's, playoff guys are going to win all these races. And then all of a sudden, non-playoff guys start winning races because there isn't as much pressure, right? There's not the pressure on the 6 car. They can go out and wildly gamble. Who gambles more in the garage than the 6 car? Nobody, right? So at 19-1 for a guy who's good at this track, and again, veteran guy, good at taking care of it, getting to the end of these races, give me Brad Keselowski at 19-1.
So because I love your Hamlin and Briscoe so much, that's the 2 that I will back you on. We'll squad ride that one. So I had to pick somebody else, right? And I just
could have picked any. Did you know you could have picked anybody, Rod?
I could have.
Were you aware that you weren't limited to only picking this guy?
But here's the thing, okay? I'm going after Tyler Reddick at 8-1. Hold your breath, hold your nose. It's fine. He is below the cut line right now, right? But Tyler Reddick, he is 4th overall. And I know he has been absolute hot garbage everywhere else. I'm not even going to read his stats because you've already know him. And you know him by heart because you've been fading Tyler Reddick for a very long time now. But on this track, a 2nd place finish in the spring of 2022, a 3rd place finish in the fall of 2022, and then a 22nd place in the spring of 2023, but a 2nd place finish that fall. 32nd in the spring of 2024, but a 10th in the fall. Just had a 4th place finish earlier this spring. He is 4th overall in average finish at Darlington. Sometimes, Cody, a la Erik Jones, there is one track and one race that they feel comfortable with. And maybe Tyler Reddick, because of all of the nonsense that's been going on with him, all of the craziness, all of the disappointment. I mean, look, he finished 4th in Nashville earlier this season as well. I'm sorry, not 4th, 9th in Nashville earlier this year too, right? Top 10 finish on another 1.33 mile track. I say what you will, and I know you've been high on him. I know you've been burned, Cody. Just point to the bear where Tyler Reddick has burned you in the past.
He hasn't burned me at all because I've not touched him.
This is true. But he does not have any wins this year. And for the regular season championship or champion from last year to not have a win going into this, he is below the cut line. He is desperate. This team needs a win to advance, and he's been good at this track. So this is a big swing for Tyler Reddick to try to get into because, again, he's been disappointed, and it's shown up in the racing. He's got to take a swing. This is where he takes a swing. Again, Cody, I know I could pick anybody, but I'm picking Tyler Reddick at the number at 8-1 because I feel like Blaney, I want Blaney. Don't really necessarily back the number on Blaney. So it's just, I don't know. Give me Tyler Reddick 8-1.
What year is it, Rob?
It is not an even year. What? I don't know. It's 2025.
Okay, hold on. Checking my notes for those listening on the podcast. Yeah, I have zero interest in Tyler Reddick at 8-1. That's all.
Fine. It doesn't matter. Look, again, this is one I really, like I said, Hamlin and Briscoe were the two. You had him in the dock. I just picked Reddick because
I'd be much more interested in Bubba. I don't remember what his number is. It's bigger than Reddick's. It's just been rough for Reddick. And the dirt track thing, sure, he's been good here in the past, but has there been a race this year? Like, I'm trying to think, has there been a single race this year where you've thought, oh, there's Tyler Reddick? Like, has that thought crossed your mind?
it could happen.
But no, it can't. I don't think it can, Rod. Like, his only good finishes are on road courses or super speedways. Like, literally, 9th at Watkins Glen. Like, you look back through his results. 21st, 34th, 9th at Watkins Glen, 9th, or 19th, 29th, 12th, 6th at Sonoma, 3rd at Chicago, 4th at Atlanta, road course, street course, super speedway, 32nd at Pocono, 20th, 13th at Michigan, where he's traditionally been great, 9th at Nashville. You're really grasping some straws there. 17th at Kansas, 26th at Charlotte, 7th at the All-Star race because there's only so many cars, but like 4th at Darlington in the spring. I guess if you're really in 8th at Miami. So there you go. You got it on the comp tracks. Hey,
Listen. I have been handicapping some outlandish sports as of late, right? And there have been some utterly bad, like one team that I handicapped had not won against the other team since 1991. Guess which side of that I picked, and guess which side won. So I mean, look, miracles can happen, right? We beat the Russians in.
That's why you bet Erik Jones at 80-1 because miracles can happen.
This is true.
Tyler Reddick at 8-1.
All right. Speaking of miracles, get out your pen and paper. It's a miracle we can get through this, and also a miracle that we've got our graphics today. So get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over our bets for this Cookout Southern 500. And of course, if you're on YouTube, time for your screenshot of the day. I started you out with Shane Van Gisbergen to finish better than or under 24th place, 24.5 place at -115. Taking the lesser of two evils, that's Ty Gibbs over Carson Hocevar at -115. Ross Chastain, top 10 at +120. Christopher Bell, top 5 at +220. And then top 3 at +400. I'm taking the winning car number 18 to 23 at +270. And then Tyler Reddick to win this race at 8-1. Cody gave you Chase Briscoe to win the pole at +450. AJ Allmendinger to finish under 18.5 at -125. Ty Dillon to finish under 24.5 at -105. He's giving you Briscoe as a top 5 car at +220. Allmendinger is a top 10 car at 10-1. Keselowski is a top 10 car at +100. Ryan Preece, top 10 +250. Ryan Preece, top 4 at 16-1. Riding the Erik Jones car lift, under 17.5 at -125. Top 10 at 4-1, top 5 at 13-1, top Toyota at 33-1, and then to win at 80-1. Also adding Hamlin at 6-1 to his card, Briscoe 13-1, and Brad Keselowski at 19-1 to win this Cookout Southern 500. Cody, good stuff. This is we don't normally like severely disagree on the Cup Series this badly, but boy, we butted heads a little bit.
Yeah, we did. A couple of disagreements in here. So it's always nice. And Rod chose sides between Gibbs and Hocevar. So what a great show.
I know. Hey, listen, mark this down. This is where Ty Gibbs and I become best friends and we mend all wounds.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Even though he has zero clue that I have any sort of beef with him whatsoever. So.
Hey, you don't know. Sometimes these drivers, Rod, they know what's going on. You never know.
This is true. Whatever. I mean, look it. And he knows. Look it. They all know. They all know. I would love to have a beer with any one of them. Prove me wrong. Please. I want to be wrong.
By the way, I don't know if I highlighted this comment, but Andrew said Brad Keselowski 28-1 on DraftKings. So I missed that. But much better number over there. So make sure you get it. All right, Rod. We'll be back tomorrow. We have trucks and Xfinity at Darlington this weekend. So a full loaded show. Excited for that. Always a fun, and it's a doubleheader on Saturday, by the way, which is an interesting choice in the first real weekend of college football. But they know the good team plays on Thursday with the Huskers. Will be out of the way, so it's all fine. So yeah, there's that, Rod. I'd like to say congratulations to Erik Jones on his win this week at the Southern 500. Make sure you follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb, where you can find all my stuff. Heisman Trophy best bets up over there. You can join. We did talk about this yesterday, but if you're interested, NASCAR's got their playoff grid challenge, I believe is what they're calling it. We made a group, NASCAR Gambling Podcast. You can join. The password is DGens only, capital D at the beginning of that. We're going to give out a free NASCAR Gambling Podcast hoodie for that. And yeah, so make sure you get into that, and yeah, let's fucking go.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link about everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you're checking out Seth and Elliot over on the back road as they break down Darlington for you. And then, of course, my DGens only play of the day. Guaranteed that Kabaddi is going to be there in a couple of days when that match takes place. So if you want to learn more about Kabaddi and why I think Taluga is going to win, then you can head over there. In the meantime, there's all kinds of other great stuff like, I know, there's badminton the other day. There was all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So make sure you check that out over on sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Love you all. See you tomorrow for Trucks and Xfinity. But until then, let's go racing and let it ride.